going to be for the master cylinder. And it has a code of Bravo Charlie 277 Mike. I'm fond of brake crafters. I'm not a sponsor of them. I just like their packaging. I like how their stuff is OEM. It's very professional stuff. And I know when I use it, it's going to last just as long as the old stuff that was in there. All right, first thing we're going to start off with is our reservoir in the line. And because I am lazy and I don't like to work any harder than I have to, I have a line clamp. So I'm going to clamp it off. That way I don't have to pull the reservoir out. And you can have a little bit of fluid that comes out. As we're going to move down here. And then easy peasy. Okay. That's going to allow our pin to come out. Okay, pro tip. Some of these, if they've been on there for 20 years, they can really stick. And you get what's called galvanization. And so you get corrosion built up in between the threads. And those babies don't like to come out. And these will strip on you. So what I like to do is I'll tap on them. Like this on the front. And if it's really bad, you'll have to put some heat on them, but shouldn't have to. And also impact helps. Impact is your friend. I'm just using a DeWalt impact. A 1/4 inch. And it actually will save your bolts. It hammers them and then knocks them loose. So I'm going to do that. Okay. These ones are coming out really easy because I've taken this apart before. But a lot of times those babies are in there. They don't like to come out. Mass cylinder's going to come with. So yeah, we're not removing the whole foot assembly. A lot of times these can be a real bugger to get out if you haven't removed them a long time. So it's going to take more time to remove them. Fight bolts and stuff. This is the easiest way to do it. That's that piece that we just took off on the side. And then we have our banjo bolt right here that we're going to take off. So that is a 12. And you can use a ratchet wrench. But if you do, you'll have to have this screwed in here in order to break that bolt. So just remember that because it's going to be hard to do otherwise in your hand. Okay. So if you got an impact like this, easy peasy, you're just going to go in reverse. And then we're going to rebuild this piece right here onto the bench. Okay, so we're going to remove this gasket right here because we have a brand new one in the kit. We don't have to worry about getting damaged. So we're just going to, there's a lip right here that it rides on. It just sits down there in the bottom. So sometimes it's grabbing the right tools. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up out of the way. Yeah, we got it's a little crusty down in there. Right in there. You go. Okay, you can see there's a circlip right in there. So here I got a different assortment. This one's large snap ring pliers, and I bought these at Napa, part 3152. I think it cost me like $70. I love these things. They're awesome. And then I have Lang. They're okay. They do the job, let's just put it that way. And then we got your PT, your performance tool. These are a little beefier, but they won't get into some of the smaller places, so they each have their own purpose. So what I did is I squeezed, and then I just kind of bent it a little bit, and then kind of jerked it. You want to be careful because you don't want to break these tips. Sometimes it happens, and it is what it is. But okay, so we're gonna pull this piece out, and this is yeah, she's let's just say I've never seen one with that much grit in it. So what I did is I took the dust cap off. The dust cap sits in here, but you have to take the foot assembly off. So I did that, removed the dust cap, and that's this piece. I had to wire wheel this, and you can see it's got some pretty good deep hits in it. And the seal works right here, so that's okay. And the pits aren't deep enough where it actually compromises the part, so this is still okay. And you won't see any of this anyways, because it'll be all up inside. So still keep that. So we have our piston and spring and cup assembly. And so what we got to do, so this doesn't come on here, so we have to put this on there, and it goes upwards like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some WD-40. And if it's really cold, you might want to warm it up. And then you just want to work it over very carefully. This does take some finger pressure to do that. Um, it's probably the hardest part to do the whole brakes. It's not an easy job. Make sure it slides over because we don't want to gouge the rubber. And then, there's our cup assembly. And it's on exactly where it needs to be. I put this in the bath and it cleaned it out okay. There's a little tiny corrosion here and then, but that's okay because the seal doesn't ride right there. So that's why there's corrosion right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ball this out. I cleaned it out the best I could. I just used some carburetor fluid. And you want to be careful when you clean the board because you definitely don't want to put any scratches in there. Otherwise, they'll trash this. It'll be Dunskies. So don't use any sharp objects. So, that being said, Okay, so this goes here. Let's go straight on there. Right. Now what's cool is they actually give like a little bit of lube, you could say. And this is especially designed where it'll just dissolve inside your brake fluid. So I would not use just regular axle grease. And slight coat we don't need. Like on there. Okay, here we go, assembly time. So this is going to drop down in there. Okay. Here. Alright, so just straighten that piece out. And the other piece is going to go in here. And it's going to be kind of tight, so beware. And so this will go in there. Put a new one on. I just gotta open it and get it on there. Struggle's real. Okay. So you could use a vise if you had one. I don't know if you guys do or not, so I'm gonna do one without just to show that it is possible. Possible, but not fun. Okay, we're gonna, you'll run into problems if you these things. Try not to get yourself. See, it's kind of like rotating on. Okay, we want to make sure it's seated inside that lip. And then you're just going to do a visual inspection and make sure it's all the way in there. You can see where the holes are. See if I can get zoomed in here. See where those holes are? That's all the way in there. So the holes should be touching. Okay. So I'm going to take this back off and just screw it on there lightly. You'll have to reset it, but that's okay. And we're going to put our dust boot on. Okay, so the only spot we really want some lubrication is right here. Probably down here in the boot anyways, because we don't want any moisture. If there is moisture that gets in there, it's not going to corrode my part. And then we'll put some on the boot ends here. Okay. And we're just going to push that on. This has a really hard edge to it, so I might find something that's not sharp. Pressing down. Okay. All right. Then we're going to put our locking nut on. Feels really good. Banjo bolt. We're just going to use the same little washers. Which is fine. I'm just going to tell you the manufacturer recommends to replace them, but I never had an issue. And, okay. This on there. Screw it down. Okay. And I'm going to put that. Let's see what we got here. See where it sits. Like right there towards the bottom. Okay. And then after I install it on here, I'll tighten it down with one of my boxing wrenches. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is take this off. Not off, but stick it in here. So if that O-ring's good, we're just going to reuse it. If they give you a replacement, you don't replace it. And now this one is good. Okay. This doesn't require any torque specs. This is just going to go down till it's snug. Usually go down until it stops. And I'm just tightening it with my fingers. And then that's it. That's all it needs. You don't have to go like a dug on it. And see if that lines up. So what we need to do is we need to kick this out a little bit. And so we're just going to turn this, probably a couple turns. I'm going to line it up here again. Just line it up. Just got a couple more turns out. So it lines up again. And I'd say that's the winner chicken dinner right there. Okay. And all you have to do is snug up your lock nut and it's good. But before we do any of that, it'll be easier to put this nut, or I should say, the cotter pin or pin, and then the cotter pin, and first. And what I'm going to do is I'm getting some grease. And I'm putting some grease on that. This is some regular wheel bearing grease, nothing special. And I'll put that on there. This allows us to, we're just not fighting that thing like constantly. I'm going to put a new cotter pin on. So I have my cotter pin Pro Pack. I just picked it up from O'Reilly's. I'll match the cotter pin that needs to go in there. And this one's really small, so it's going to be the smallest one. Let's see if I can put you in a better spot here. I'm actually going to cut that down, but I'll cut it down after I go to bend. Make sure I'm not cross-threading. Okay, and quick lip. Okay. And some people hate the idea of impacts, and I understand. And double check it. So it's loose and we need to tighten. Everything's opposite. Perfect. Now you gotta be careful with the banjo bolts because if you put a ton of pressure on them, they will strip. I'm gonna release this. Okay. So we have our piston assembly installed. We have this loosened. We have our brake switch installed. They do make 3 and 4, but use dot number 4. Master cylinder's been repaired. We now have brake. It's not going to lock up on us. It feels actually really nice. And this one's a little more roachy than I thought it was going to be, but still savable. As long as that cylinder bore is good, you'll be fine generally. And the rear always catches a lot more moisture than the front. So if you ever have a brake issue, it's generally going to be on the rear first before the front. So there you go, another one repaired.